What's going on, everybody? My name is David Delano on the road, but here's Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arch Goal. Here it's simple, bring you the best Houston Rockets content that we possibly can. Definitely traveling, apologize in advance, hopefully that this connection is solid, but I'm going to get you the best information that we can. And go ahead and like and subscribe, that way you're notified anytime a video is dropped and help us grow. Been reading each and every comment, a lot to talk about here, and we all... Obviously, at this point, I'm assuming you know that Kevin Durant is now a Houston Rocket. Clint Capella, also a Houston Rocket, but not officially. And as we're looking at how these things are going to work out, the trade details are yet to be finalized. Now, this trade that's reportedly sending Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks over to the Phoenix Suns, the details of this trade are going to be a lot more complicated than a lot of people may have thought. We know that the Rockets have sent over 5 second-round draft picks to the Suns, along with the first-round picks from this year, which is expected. But it's reported that there could be about 7 different teams involved in this trade. And as we've been talking about a lot of different things as far as the Rockets needing to add more pieces, if they're done with the roster, if they're not, there have been some great questions out there wondering, could there be some more big pieces coming to the Houston Rockets in the trade that's involving either, Clint Capella in a sign-and trade, or involving Kevin Durant coming over to Houston. And really reports that the Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, and Minnesota Timberwolves could all be involved in this trade. And maybe wondering why so many teams are involved. Well, NBA has very, very strict salary cap matching rules, and a lot of times we throw out these trade proposals and we think about things, and it's really hard to make the money match up that quickly, even for NBA general managers and executives. So really, by combining multiple trades into one mega deal, it allows these teams to shuffle contracts, draft rights, assets, and things like that to be where they need to be, where each team needs to be respectively when it comes to the salary cap. So, point here as we're talking about this, could there be some more big additions, some substantial pieces coming over to the Houston Rockets in this trade? And I'm interested to see the final details, like all of you guys are. More than likely, most of the main pieces that are going to be involved in this trade are things that have already been widely reported. So we've seen a lot of, the Lakers have been very, very busy, just added 8, and they've made a lot of moves. Minnesota Timberwolves, Warriors, we've seen all these teams making moves. So more than likely, this trade is going to be a lot of the formalities and details being shored up, involving players that we already know about, and maybe throwing in some other small details like cash, some draft rights. Any players added into this are probably going to be a little bit lesser known, or more of two-way players. So as far as where it comes to the Rockets, getting Dorian Finney-Smith, getting Clint Capella, getting Kevin Durant, it's likely to be all a part of this same trade. Not likely to be any bigger pieces than that added, although there could be some drafts, maybe an extra pick or something, or maybe some other small pieces on the surface that the Rockets are getting. So I'm going to stay locked in, obviously, as these trade details become finalized, but more than likely, I'm not expecting a big piece added as a part of this trade. And one thing I definitely appreciate is there's been a lot of comments as far as free agents. Eric Gordon was a great comment that got yesterday, as far as, hey, Eric Gordon's out there on the cheap for the minimum. And shortly right after that stuff's happening so fast, reports that he agreed to a deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Jordan Clarkson, a name mentioned, reports that he's going to the Knicks. We talked about Cam, not a free agent. We talked about Cam Johnson earlier, being moved, and Denver Nuggets have been very, very busy, as a lot of teams are. So the thing is, obviously getting Kevin Durant, the biggest piece that has been moved so far, getting Clint Capella, great bonus. So much depth at the center position. Love that. 3-and-D guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. Rockets, right now, I graded yesterday. I'd give the offseason an A so far, based off of what we know. But there's still a lot of guys that have moved different places. Tim Hardaway Jr., not going to name all of them, going over to Denver. And for you guys, what I want to know is, are there any moves that you regret the Rockets not signing? I think that in addition to, when you look at Dorian Finney-Smith, or there may be a couple other guys that you would have liked to seen over smaller contracts. Like, for example, I had mentioned, Jake LaRavia. I mentioned, like Jordan Clarkson's been mentioned. Eric Gordon's been mentioned. Are there some of those guys that you might have been, I would have, rather maybe had those two guys instead of Dorian Finney-Smith? Obviously, Cam Johnson. Even guys that you might have liked to see in smaller salaries other than Kevin Durant. Anybody out there particular, and everyone's gonna have their different opinion, but that you guys feel like the Rockets missed out on, or that you think that you would have liked to seen added that are no longer on the board at this point, or maybe some sleepers who are still on the board. Go ahead and leave those in the comments. And this is something I'll probably even touch on even more, but I wanted to touch on this. Kevin Durant went on the podcast that Steve Nash and LeBron James have, and I'm not going to play any clips from that. You guys are welcome to look at it. I don't want to get dinged for copyright or anything. And as you see, on the road, but I did want to take the time to listen to that conversation, because all over social media, all over Instagram, I saw a lot of broken down clips and reels, 10-second, 20-second clips, where I've seen, and you guys may have seen it as well, where Kevin Durant's mentioned, you don't want the ball going over to Dorian Finney-Smith with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and obviously with DFS coming over to the, and I mean by Dorian Finney-Smith, not Daily Fantasy Sports, but being a Houston Rocket now, I could see why from those short clips where people could say, there goes Kevin Durant. He's not a leader. He's already throwing guys under the bus. People not realizing, even if those comments were made before the trade was announced, it looks like Kevin Durant's being messy, not being a good leader, not being a good teammate. And, this day and era that we live in now, there's a lot of clips, whether even if it's over on, administration or different celebrity trials going on. There's a lot of gossip and things that are half true or not fully true that are out there, and you may not support a particular side. You may or may not, but regardless of where you stand on a particular side, I want to know the information, and I want to know the full aspect of what was said. And sometimes you defend a certain side, people be like, oh, you're a fan of this person, you're a supporter of this person, you think this is okay, this is on. No. I just want to know what was truly said. We don't have to put sauce on it. So seeing this, I looked at the comments from the interview, especially, if you don't look at the whole interview, look at the 5 minutes before, the 5 minutes after, before the Dorian Finney-Smith comments, which are about 22 minutes into that podcast episode. It's about a 48-minute episode, and they're talking a lot about the mid-range and the analytics department, a lot of that stuff that really, really got hot here in Houston with layups and threes, not anything in the mid-range. And Kevin Durant's talking about, LeBron James talks about, when you get into these playoff series, is they want to be as efficient as possible. It's about winning. And the point being, Kevin Durant saying that a lot of the mid-range, he's got to take the best shot possible. SGA just won MVP. He's saying the threes, a lot of those analytics, you can hold those other guys to it, but he, as the leader of the team, needs to be as efficient as possible, and I am definitely paraphrasing. And he was saying, and you can look at the exact quote, for sustainable offense, you don't want a guy like him, to my understanding, KD, if you want to chime in, feel free. But to my understanding, Kevin Durant is saying that he doesn't want to have a good mid-range look that he passes up on for analytical purposes, and then instead of Kevin Durant taking a good mid-range look, the team ends up settling for 3-point shots with 2 seconds left on the shot clock from role players, which I agree with KD 100%. I use Dorian Finney-Smith as an example, but I mean, I think that's just a realistic, and if you've played any sport, basketball or anything else, like guys have roles, and being realistic with who you are. And I think that I didn't think that the way, when I looked at the whole thing, not just in reels with little clips, sometimes just a little clip can be edited and give something a completely different meaning. When you look at the entire clip, I don't think that it's something Finney-Smith should have a issue with, and I actually thought that I liked hearing Kevin Durant be vocal about that, because if you're on the team, I mean, you know, if you're on the team, you know that Kevin Durant taking that mid-range shot, maybe 10 seconds left on the shot clock, 5 seconds left on the shot clock, you know, from the free throw line, wherever, is going to be a higher percentage shot than Finney-Smith getting the ball with 2 seconds left. So completely agree with Durant on that. Let me know what you guys' perception was if you checked out that. If you only looked at the social media clips, let me know what your thoughts are, and if you had any initial reactions to that. And one thing here, NBA title odds right now, a lot of you mentioned that the Rockets need to make another move. And obviously the Rockets right now still, you know, everybody's still well behind Oklahoma City. People can say, what does Vegas know and all that, but it's something to take the emotion out of it and look at these odds. And right now, according to FanDuel, at the Oklahoma City Thunder, obviously the favorites to repeat. New York Knicks signing of Mike Brown. I like Mike Brown, but all that firing of Thibodeau and going through that to get Mike Brown, I think they maybe should have wrote it out. But we'll see. The East is wide open. And because the East is wide open, you've got the Knicks right now at the second best title odds, according to FanDuel at this time. It can always change. At plus 750 to win the NBA championship. And then you got the Rockets. The Denver Nuggets are tied, along with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Third, fourth, and fifth, they're all tied there at plus 850. So Rockets in the top 5 there, odds-wise. And when you look at that, who out of those teams, where do you think that the Rockets rank? I do think that right now, on paper, just being completely objective, I would put the Nuggets and the Thunder ahead of the Rockets. And it's interesting, you know, good things for that Eric Gordon comment. I think he would have been a nice person to add. I think that there's more moves to come. But I think those big moves may happen mid-season at the trade deadline. We will definitely see. So let me just know what you guys think about that with the title odds. Thanks so much for watching. My name is David Delano over on X. You can follow me at GetSportsStrong along with on Instagram. Thanks for watching this video. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Feel free to just keep those comments coming. Subscribe to this channel. That way you're notified anytime that there is a video dropped. I'm on the road. I'm traveling. Going to post it. Hopefully it's not too glitchy. I apologize in advance, but thanks so much for being patient with me. God bless, and let's have a great day, and let's be safe.